Ready? Good evening. I'd like to call to order the meeting of September 13th for the Barnstable Golf Committee. First thing on the agenda is the roll call. Jeff Converse, absent. John Cookson,
Present.
Keith Hochstein, present. Suzanne Connolly,
Present.
Mark Bushway,
Present.
Bill Silva,
Present.
and Jason Olby.
Present.
Great. In accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30, Section 20, I have to ask if anyone is taping this meeting. Seeing none, I would like to remind the audience that this meeting is being recorded and will air on Channel 18. If anyone has any questions, they can address them to Jesse Scheckman, the Director of Golf. Jesse, do you have any comments from the public?
Negative.
Okay. So, first order of business is to act on the minutes. Anyone have any questions or comments from the minutes of the August 9th, 2022 Golf Committee meeting? All right, seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Motion to approve, and we have a second.
Second.
Okay, we'll take a vote to approve the minutes of August the 9th. John?
Yes.
Keith, yes. Suzanne?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
All right, they're approved unanimously. All right, at this time, we're going to ask Suzanne Connolly to speak regarding a couple of very important events that take place here at the Barnstable Golf Program.
Thank you very much. I ask that we bring our attention to the fact that on October 4th, we will be holding the annual CUDA Classic Benefit Tournament. This tournament raises money that goes directly to the CUDA Women's Health Center in Hyannis, and the money is used to support the treatment of women here on Cape Cod who are undergoing treatment for breast cancer, especially those women of some limited means. We have a wonderful special guest this year, Dr. Naomi Kaliath, who is a breast surgical oncologist, is our special guest and speaker at the luncheon that follows golf. So I want to let everyone know that last year we raised over $10,000 for the center, which they appreciated so much. And even though, you know, like some of the big organizations like the Susan G. Komen support research, this is money that goes directly to help women on Cape Cod who are battling this terrible disease. And so I'd like to invite all of the golfers of Barnstable Golf to consider playing. It's mixed, it's men and women. The men actually are wonderful. They love the tournament. There are trophies that are given out for the longest drive. Somebody we know very well won the longest drive last year. And closest to the pin, of course, there are raffles, and we have a silent auction. And we really hope that you consider supporting us. I do want to say that the local business community has been amazing this year. Given the difficult business climate everyone has been facing, they've been so generous in sponsoring polls. So companies that really never came forward before have. So we have some wonderful whole sponsorships, and I'm sure we're going to have a wonderful day. The Turkey Open isn't, I'm sorry, I should say the Barnstable Ladies Golf Association and Barnstable Golf co-sponsor the CUDA. Do you want to speak to the Turkey Open? That happens here at Old Barnstable in November. It's run by Mary Hallway, our pro.
Right. Keep it going.
Okay, and there's another, that's our really second major benefit here at Old Barnstable. Golfers enter for the cost of a $25 gift certificate at Stop and Shop or Star or any of the other supermarkets. Those are all collected and then donated to 3 of the food pantries in our large town, rather, I should say, in the area. So I want to give all the credit for that one to Mary Holloway, who works very hard to make the Turkey Open a huge success every year.
Absolutely.
Keith, do you remember how much she raised last
I
year?
can't
Something like
remember.
$1,600 worth of food. Then these gift certificates are given out to the families who use the food pantries. So again, that happens in early November. And get your foursomes out. It's fun. It's a scramble. Both of them are scrambles. And it's just really fun, and it's great to golf for good causes here in Barnstable. So, and we just want to thank Barnstable Golf. The operation supports these two fundraisers very, very well, so we appreciate it. Thanks for letting me advertise them.
Suzanne, I really want to thank you for asking to have this included on the agenda. Everyone here knows, but I'd like to remind the audience that last month, we had Dave Dinellen here who spoke about our First Tee program, which enables children for low cost to no cost to get involved with golf. So the kids in the community and in this area can get involved with golf for really no cost at all. And the two tournaments you mentioned, again, highlight the involvement that Barnstable Golf has within the community. We're not just someone out here playing golf, we're really an organization and a group that is involved trying to help out our community. So again, thank you for bringing that
Well,
forward.
thank you for letting me speak to it.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, with that, we'll have preliminary discussion on the 2023 rates and fees. And we have Jesse Sheckman, Director of Golf.
So I don't have anything to present to you yet. This was just, I wanted to get your thoughts. If I'm being honest, I'm extremely conflicted about that for this coming year. For every reason I see to go up, I see one not to. I'll get into finances in my report about what we have coming up now that we're in budget season. Next year's budget will go up on the expense side, no question. We are getting a new cart fleet that's a lot more expensive. I think I feel I'm more confident I can speak to the cart prices more so than greens fees or membership, but I'll be very prepared with a report next meeting, but this one that's not what I put this on there for. I kind of more wanted to hear from you.
Okay.
However you want to handle that.
I would like to open it up to the committee, and again, just as Jesse said, I didn't know exactly what Jesse was going to have for us tonight, but it's a great opportunity for us to start putting ideas or thoughts, feelings on the table, and I'll throw it open to the committee if anyone would like to speak to this issue.
May I?
Of course, Suzanne.
So I like your budget action calendar. That's a good starting place for us to know what your timeline is. I was interested to see October 11th potential position changes. Is that when you do a wish list of, or is there something in the works, or?
It's a very generic document.
Yes.
It's not just golf.
Good.
Any position, if we want to add a position, or I'm talking full-time positions. We currently have 17 full-time employees in the golf division. If we want to add one or upgrade one,
That's when you make.
correct, we would
Right.
need to have that. Last year, I submitted to have our three operations assistants, David Gassane, Dave Charette, and Mike Colby, upgraded. They got upgraded from grade 5 to a grade 7, which may not mean much to you, but it just puts them in a little better place, within the town structure. I don't really see anything happening there. There's one small item that Maddie and I have talked about, and it dealt with custodial type work. We don't have any help in that regard. We're probably, I don't know this for a fact, we're probably the only division in the town that doesn't have any help in that regard. Our golf coaches and our division assistants, our golf assistants, they start their mornings cleaning bathrooms.
Oh, my.
Yeah, we don't
I
have
didn't
any,
realize that.
right. And it's, it's difficult, especially during the day. It's noon and you're working and you're behind the counter and your cart person's out either picking the range or working out in the course, and somebody comes in, hey, you're out of toilet paper in there, and you have a shop full of people and the phone's ringing. It's tough. So the only thing I might try to do with that particular deadline, I was talking with Maddie and Chris Canella. Full-time would be overkill, I think.
Split.
But what we could do is have some kind of situation where we contribute X amount, X percentage of, say, a DPW custodian salary, and in return, we get X percentage of their time. So say 20 grand comes out of the golf budget, and in exchange, we get 15 hours a week from somebody. So that's an hour at each course a day. Okay, that might be all we need.
I must say, I'm shocked to hear this because the place is always very clean, so that,
We try hard.
We try hard, but I don't think that's the best way to go.
It's not.
No, it's
So-
not attractive for
So,
professionals.
right, and
Right.
you're coming in. I mean, we expect our pros and our assistants. We expect them to dress nice and look the part,
Yeah.
and that's how they're starting their day. So that would be any position change would be. I might try to find. It's funny, we always use the word finding money in the budget. Might try to find some money to allocate towards some kind of custodial help, if you will. So that's that.
I played more this year at the end of the day, and at the end of the day, if there is some
Oh yeah,
work that needs to be done
no question.
in the management.
It's I'm not trying to make excuses. It's just it's really tough to to be the one responsible for that and be behind the counter. You run in there between customers when you can. You have your card person run in there when they can. But man, it would be awfully nice if we had people just focusing on that and we could do our job of running the golf course.
So when will we talk fee changes? At the October meeting? Is that?
Well, we were doing it right now. But
No, I mean, the fee changes, your next item, the 31st of October.
right, that's my deadline to submit
Right.
our, shall I say, proposal. So,
You know what I mean? right?
Yeah, well, so in other words, I think we have to have, I thought we had to have, and Jesse may correct me now, by the October 11th meeting,
Right.
I think we have to have our recommendation to him. Is that correct? Unless we're gonna call a special meeting.
no. I will. The way I think, I believe I see this happening is, we talk now. I take it in. I put something quasi-officially on paper, distribute it to you, and then we essentially decide whether or not you all approve
Yeah.
of it at that meeting.
At October
And then if you
11th.
do, all I do is turn around and send it to my superiors and say, here's what we think.
So again, for the golf committee purposes, October 11th, we would need to make a hard recommendation to Jesse. And if we can, for whatever reason, we would have to have an additional meeting before the end of October when Jesse has to present this to the town authorities.
I would think our October meeting will be 99% that.
Okay.
Does the town use the consumer price index? Is there a gauge for increasing budgets, or what do they use?
On the expense, on
No, on the expense side, right.
no, we'll use actuals. We'll use,
So they, last year, we just upped everything 5%.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
where did that come from?
trying to match forecasted expenses,
Okay.
really. It's much easier to start there. This is what I found, how much is it gonna cost to run these two golf courses for this year? And we get to a number, 3.6 million, whatever it is. Okay, what do we need to charge to get to that number? That's, because the expenses are
I mean, I don't
far
hear
easier
people
to guess.
complaining about the fees. I really don't. I don't know
We
if
wouldn't be
you
as,
hear it.
we wouldn't be as busy as we are if they
Yeah,
were.
they're not complaining about the fees.
But
So-
you've said you have a difficult time raising the fees to the town, right? They give you some pushback if they
Sure.
think it's,
Well, we're tasked with being an affordable recreational activity.
but you also need to cover the expenses if we, to,
100%.
I'm sure those fairways need to be reseeded. I mean,
What's that, tomorrow? The next day?
It's
fertilizer and seeding is all coming next 2
Right.
weeks.
Yeah.
And how much of the fertilizer and seeding gone up?
Right.
Both,
Exponential.
Double?
in some cases,
Yeah.
especially seed. There's been droughts on the west coast as well as here, so that affects seed production. So,
So your expense in seed and fertilizer has got to be exceeding what you forecasted, because nobody forecasted the drought and the damage that would have taken place this year, I would think.
yeah, we're probably gonna be over budget in both.
Yeah.
It's like,
And we've been able to scrimp and save on other lines, but I'll get to that in my report about what I'm putting in for what are called decision packages, which are increases to specific line items. That's why I say next year's budget, if I can have it my way, it's going to be a substantial increase. I don't want to put a number on it, but it's going to be north of 5% increase on the expense side. It's going to have to be. The price of gas, the new card fleet. I don't want to be redundant because I'll get into it, but I mean, from the sound of right now my own voice and what I've heard from you, it seems like you're not 100% opposed to some kind of increase.
I thought we talked about, I think maybe Jesse brought it up Jason last year, about, because I still have difficulty getting a tea time, in the mornings and the weekends, right? So, like, my kids all were members. 2 of them dropped out because they could only play in the weekends and couldn't get a tea time. So,
Right.
and like now my youngest that still lives with us, he's not going to join next year because, when we try to put in a twosome on Saturday morning, we get 1 in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So, does it? I don't know if did you bring that up, Jason? Like, have you seen that done somewhere else where you
I brought up the idea of going
like
with
a premium for weekends or something like
8
that?
a.m. before 8 a.m. premium time, but because from Jesse, because the charter is equal access to the community.
Yeah, I don't know if the town
can't
would
charge
go for
a premium.
anything that gives somebody more access than anybody else.
It
Different
becomes
prices for different.
socioeconomically disadvantaged.
Yeah, different pricing for different pricing is fine based on age, residency, but different access.
Well, when I brought it up originally, Mark, it was akin to you have Saturday morning, you have Saturday afternoon, you have Saturday twilight. You already have a split rate fee if you're just going to pay the fee.
Sure.
Right.
So why can't we
Right.
make the member access also tiered?
All right. I will ask that question.
Because I know everyone who plays in the morning on Saturdays would pay 10,
Hey.
15, 20% more to make
Sure.
sure that they got Saturday morning tea time.
I will ask that question tomorrow. Trying to in my head think how that will work with Chelsea. It would basically
It would be like a negative point system.
so you're not saying if you don't pay this you can't play before X.
No,
You're
you
simply
get
saying-
a point advantage if you're paying the premium.
Wow, okay. I don't even know if Chelsea has that
Mm.
as an option, but
I'm going to assume no.
because Chelsea is, yeah.
She is evil.
But I will. I'll ask both questions tomorrow. I'll ask the first question to my bosses.
Can
and
we
I'll ask
do
the
it?
other question
Then how would we
of
do it?
Chelsea.
Right.
Right.
Is it a premium to the membership that you purchase?
Yeah, you'd upgrade your membership.
Right. I can
An-
see
annual
and this is my
pre-advanced
problem, not yours. I can see hundreds of complaints coming my way.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you already get complaints from the out-of-towners.
Nobody complains ever.
And when do you put a cap on the out-of-towners?
Great question. I don't know if we're
Because
there.
I play with people all the time that, I live in Falmouth, I live in Sandwich, I live in Mashpee, but there's no deal in my town like this, we come over here to play. And I feel like saying,
Raise the rate.
you
See,
shouldn't-
that's where I was going to go. I was going to say we could indirectly cap them, not by capping them, but by going up substantially on the non-resident rate, going up 10% there,
Yeah.
and leaving the resident.
I'm not sure
alone.
that even slows them down.
Oh, I think it might.
I don't know, because
The ones I talked to.
if you live in Falmouth, Washington's $2,700.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Where-
what's
where-
Falmouth?
huh?
What's Cape Cod?
Oh,
What's
Cape
Falmouth?
Cod, well, Cape Cod's closing. to turn
Well,
into
now
a
I heard it's not closing.
solar
Yeah,
farm.
it's going back,
But
yeah.
they were the same, they're 2,600.
Yeah, and Falmouth Country Club is, they're management
In the
company,
tubes.
but yeah, yeah.
I would say substantially raise the non-resident, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't think about raising the resident as well.
Sure.
And I also think that there are other fees. Two questions here. One is, with these beautiful new cards,
Right.
we should charge a little more to use them.
Yep.
And secondly, have you made any progress about a sort of rolling account for the pro shops?
I asked a question. The response wasn't enthusiastic.
Well, I think it would be a source of, it would enhance that source of revenue for the courses, in my opinion, because you keep your stock fresh and you could replenish what you're out of much more easily. And I don't know why
And you
that's.
can do the custom orders.
And the custom orders, yes.
It's, would it be helpful? Yes. I feel like I'm speaking like a politician now, but in the battles I'm choosing,
Yeah.
coming up with a bunch of CIP and a bunch of decision packages and a bunch of things I'm gonna be asking for, that's low for me in the priority list.
Now that you already won shop manager of the year.
You know what I mean. It's,
You
you
got that trophy
if
already.
I'm
You don't need it
I'm gonna
again.
have to probably fight for certain things coming up in this
Yeah.
budget cycle.
Yeah.
And
Did
I
you
there's-
let
know,
them-
2 years in a row.
Did you let them know that the golf committee was enthusiastically
Why?
behind this idea?
I said the
He
reason I was
blamed
asking
us
the
for
question.
bringing it up, Suzanne.
There might have been a hint of that.
This wasn't my idea.
As far as the carts, if we went, so 2 questions, not a question. Number 1, if we went up pretty much $1 on every cart fee we have, and we have a bunch of different cart fees.
Yeah, that's a problem.
If we went up $1 across the board, we're looking at about $30,000. So that's great, but it's not much.
So go up 2.
Well, so here's the other question. And this is, ever since I've been here in 2015, Hyannis has been $1 or $2 less than Old Barnstable.
I've never understood
The
that.
rationale I was always told is because Hyannis is tougher to walk, so you would give them a break. Hyannis is $16 for a cart, Old Barnstable is $18.
Make them both one.
I mean, I could see either make Hyannis 18, go up and make them the same, make them both 19. We'd get no pushback at Old Barnstable. $1 more for a brand new fleet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but going up $3 at Hyannis from 16 to 19. Is that, I feel the same way,
They're
but, you know, they're brand new carts,
yeah.
gas is
and
through the roof.
Are they the carts that will shut off if you go traveling where you shouldn't, by the way? Well, they do that at Bayberry, it's pretty.
Do they
Yeah,
have,
White Cliffs
do
does
they
that.
have GPS on them or no?
Yeah,
totally
no, we're nowhere near that.
No.
If you're
Oh, we're
skipping
nowhere
holes
near
on a
that?
It's a pain
tournament,
when you don't understand what's going on.
if you're
you know,
skipping
just
holes on a
stop.
tournament, stop.
Yeah.
We're spending $38,000 more per year for this new fleet
Yep.
just to keep what we had. That's how much it went up.
I have one, did you already order them? Is it done?
Oh God, months and months ago, yeah.
Okay.
I think $20 for 18 holes is not too much at both courses. And I think that would substantially help you with the cost of gasoline for this gas-powered fleet.
That'd be huge.
Is
Yeah.
it less for the members? I don't rent a cart very
Yes.
often.
Yeah, right now it's 16 for just 18 holes, 16 at Hyannis, 18 at Old Barnstable, and both courses are 22 for public.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, we can go up on there, and that's, on the member side, we're pretty average. I did a comparison the other day, I looked at every other course on Cape. We're right around average. On the public side, we are also average, if not low. A lot of other courses are 23, 24.
Go up to 25.
For public. So I could easily see it going up, I mean, at least $1 to the public, 23. Now, here's what that does. If we don't go up on greens fees, even if we go up $1, that puts us into the next, Old Barnstable just became a $100 golf course instead of 99.
Sorry.
Is that fine? I mean, Hyannis just went to 90 from 89.
Mm.
How much do we care about ending in that 9 number and not being, I don't think it matters. Every other muni on Cape, every other good muni on Cape is charging $100 anyway.
That's right.
Captains, but they all are.
Yeah,
I'd put this place up against any of them.
Yeah.
I would hope you all would too.
yeah.
All right, well, I'm glad you're saying this. All right, I'm not trying to end this conversation, I'm just thinking
Yeah, I
out
want
loud.
to.
Yeah, I will, I'll put together some options on paper for the next meeting. I'll give it to you ahead of time, and we'll, maybe 3 options, a conservative, a middle, and an aggressive increase, and along with what that would give us.
And that will include the sort of things like cart fees and that sort of.
It'll just,
Range
Total.
fees,
Total.
correct,
the
everything.
total package. So
Everything,
the
yeah.
discussion will be on October 11th. And that will be just about all we do,
Yes, I just
right?
wanted some food for thought
99% of the meeting.
Okay,
so that I can give you something on paper.
yeah.
I hope I don't appear unprepared today. I just
No,
wanted
no,
to
it's
solicit feedback and then give you something substantial to look at. In a perfect world, let's say next year's budget's gonna go up $200,000. In a perfect world, we go up enough on these rates to where we cover that 200 increase, and that's it. Status quo. That's what we're supposed to do, a level funded budget, you know?
All right, Jesse, I want to put my 2 cents in here. At this time, regarding the resident pass holder fee, I am opposed to any increase, just on the resident pass holder fee. The cart fees, range ball fees, I don't have much problem trying to stay equitable with the other public golf courses on Cape Cod. I would just like to remind all the members that we had a surplus this year of several $100,000. Our surplus with our reserve account, I believe, was $2.4 million. The cart path improvement project over at Hyannis, I believe the final figure was only $280,000. So we saved a considerable amount there. I heard what Bill said, and I also play with a lot of people. Nobody complains about the fee. But I do believe on general principles, if we have this much of a dramatic surplus, and we have this much of a surplus in our reserve account, and Jesse, if I may interject here, what I'd like you to do with that report is to share with the members of the golf committee the increases in the resident fees, resident pass holder fees for the last 3 years. So we have a perspective over the last several years. Because we have asked our residents to raise the fees a number of times over the last 3 years. And I personally feel at this point, we can say to them, this year, we're gonna give them a pass on the increase for all the reasons I just mentioned.
Has there been a year where there has been no increase?
2 years ago?
I don't think it was 2 years ago, it was before that.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago.
2, you think, John?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'd asked Jesse to present us that
2020
information.
season didn't go up from 19, is that what it was? But that's easy.
Yeah.
I'll have that.
I don't know if you want to be using the reserve to run the golf course, though. I mean, it.
Well, I don't think
why,
we are.
why are the pros cleaning the bathrooms?
We're good at it.
Gotten very good at it,
I
yeah.
mean, you know, it's like every time you talk about, you know, an improvement, it's like, well, the money's not there to do that. Like, I get some, I don't understand it. Maybe I'm missing something, but.
We're at the point now, I don't want to be putting $400,000 in the reserves every year. I want to put that money back in the golf course.
Back into the golf course.
Right.
Let's fix
I don't want to net that much.
Let's fix the bunkers that are in desperate need
Yeah.
of fixing.
I've been, aside from Jeff, who's not here, I've been on this committee, I'm the longest, and, you know, back when our friend in the audience was on the committee, but, this project for the cart path is the first capital project that I've seen for the golf course, and I've heard, year after year about how the irrigation system at Hyannis is 40 years old, and the one at Old Barnstable goes back into when the course was, you know, first started. And as Mark says, the bunkers are much better than the last,
Yeah.
you know, 5
And there's fewer of them.
years, and there's fewer of them.
Yeah.
but the bunkers, you know, could use a capital project, and there are other things that.
And we're finally in a position to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, God bless Bruce, his main, for most of his career as director, we only had $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in surplus.
Yeah,
COVID hits, 3 years later, we're at 2.4.
yeah. Well, I would hate to be lulled into the feeling that, oh, we had 2 good years, and that's the enthusiasm for golf is gonna continue, because who knows if it is or it isn't. And I would hate to, I agree with Mark that we ought to use that surplus to, you know, do something for the courses.
But that's not entirely your decision.
Oh, God, no.
And
Well,
that's the
This is
problem.
the point, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, God,
That,
no, I have to
I
see
keep
it.
referring to this, that the cart pass, and I'm very interested to see what happens, the final result. And I certainly trust Jesse's judgment on this matter. But we started at 480,000, or 440,000, then it went to 330, and now it's at 280. The town is not willing to let us use that money. I don't know how else to put it. We're at 2.54 million. When I first came on the committee, Bruce told me that the town wanted 750,000, a perfectly legitimate amount of money in our reserve account in case of an emergency. Now we're at 2.4 million, and we don't get approval. And from what I've understood from Jesse, we're not going to get approval. We brought up the bunkers. We're not going to get approval for the bunkers at Hyannis until the debt is paid, which is 3 more years, I believe. 2 more
FY
years.
25.
So when we pay off the debt, then possibly, we'll get approval to improve the bunkers. So this is why I'm saying, as far as I am concerned, the resident pass holder fee should be flat for next year.
I don't particularly agree, but.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
well, this is
disagree
why I
too.
brought it up though, John.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't think your surplus is from the members' fees. Your surplus is from the public.
It's from the rounds played.
The surplus
And
is
the
from
pass holders.
everything that we
No,
do.
because the
Yeah.
pass holders don't, just
The number.
overtaxed.
Jason, the surplus is from everything that we do.
No, I get that. But you're not making any money on the members. You're making all of the money in surplus.
Not the ones that play 120 rounds, no. But
Those are the people, I know.
we do more in greens fees than we do in membership fees.
Right.
Not by much, but by a little. But, I mean, sure, in a
That's
perfect world,
significant.
like, that's what the Cape Club thought was gonna happen when they went, right? They thought they were gonna get all these people, you come in, they spend 120 in a greens fee, and then bye, all day long filled with those people. Oh, God, that'd be amazing. The place would be the Taj Mahal if it was just nothing but $100 around. But this is why we have these conversations. I'll put, again, I think 3 things on paper. One with no or close to no increase, one with a modest one, and then one with a slightly aggressive one, and we'll see what the numbers look like. You know, it's, I think just the simple laws of supply and demand say we should be going up if it's that busy and that popular. But
Well, if people are buying fertilizer for their yards right now, or grass seed for their yard, they look at the price when they're gonna buy a bag of grass seed, you know, so they get it when
Right.
fees are going up. If we're trying to, if we wanna fix what's going on out here, you know.
And the
they
drought's
understand it,
only
and it's
half
still
of
a
it.
great value.
the drought's only half it. James will speak to it. The environmentally sustainable plan
Yeah,
skyrocketed prices too.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not only are these products that he's buying more expensive, but they have to be applied more often.
Yeah.
So,
Jesse, will you relate the total raise on each of your proposals to the increase in expenses that you projected for next year?
it doesn't have to be that way, because every year I've ever seen the budget, and not that I've ever been as involved with it as I am now, a certain portion of surplus is used to balance it. We have never forecasted, at least in my time, I don't believe, we have never had a budget that forecasts enough revenue to where we can leave surplus alone. Now, there's been plenty of years where, like this past year, we were budgeted to use 6 figures worth of surplus to balance the budget. Well, not only do we not need it, we blew it away by 400 grand.
Oh, no, I mean, if you're increasing the expense budget
Yeah,
next year by 400,000,
sure.
would you compare that to how much revenue we're raising?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. In a perfect world, the budget will, at the end of the day, be, no matter how the budget comes out, it will be a net zero. That's how it's done. You know, it's a net zero. But how much surplus will be in there? To your point, I mean, if it's zero, that'd be amazing. That would be the increase. It's exactly the same as the increase in expenses. Great. But no, I don't use that as much as a barometer as you think. It's really, yeah, what do we need to charge to make what it costs to run the course, but knowing that we're not going to gouge people just to avoid using a surplus. Does that make sense? We're not going to go up an exorbitant amount just to avoid using surplus. If we go up, if I pitch a 10% increase, and that still means we have to grab 60 grand from surplus, I'm not going to say, well, make it 13. So be it. We'll grab 60 grand from surplus. We're not going to go. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go a crazy amount higher to avoid that, especially with $2 million there.
So,
But,
may I follow up on Jason's point? I heard you say that membership fees and greens fees are about even
Yeah.
at the end of the day. So the surplus is being generated from both revenue
everything.
streams.
Shop, range,
Right.
cards.
Exactly,
All of it.
but you can't say that the membership fees aren't helping to generate this revenue as much as the greens fees. So here's what I'm hearing out there. Deferred maintenance is visible to everyone, and in my opinion, deferred maintenance is one of the worst things an organization can do. And here I'm talking not about Barnstable Golf, but I'm talking about the town. It's not wise to defer your maintenance.
Snowballs.
Exactly. Not only does it snowball, but you know inflation came out at 8.7% today. Still, we're in a hugely inflationary environment. So I guess my point is, members are starting to see that the deferred maintenance is there, but they're also hearing we have a massive amount of capital.
Those
really.
things don't jive together.
They don't
Yeah.
understand why the bunkers can't be fixed, and the
In a private world, they would be.
no, understood,
You know,
but
yeah.
somehow, and I don't mind saying this publicly, because a lot of golfers and a lot of non-golfers for that matter watch this meeting. It doesn't make any sense to have such a surplus, such a large surplus that is generated in part by the members, the people who live in this town, as well as everyone else who comes from outside the town, and to let all of this maintenance that needs to happen just drag on and on and on over the years. That's all I want to say, because it's not making sense to a lot of members.
And I agree with you, and that's why, one, the budget I'm gonna try to put forward for next year is very aggressive on the expense side, because I have no interest in increasing that surplus number. I don't.
Right, yeah,
If
why?
it were up to me, we would net $1 at the end of the year, and every dollar, you know what I mean?
Right.
It would all go back to the golf course. And two, we have to put together a CIP.
I was
List.
just thinking CIP.
Yeah, we have our items, we put them in,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, we are just a division of community services. James and I will prioritize what's the most important, down to, just because it's least important doesn't mean it's not important, but we will prioritize them. But then it goes into the pile with everything else at the senior center, and HYCC and rec, and then it's in the pile with everything at DPW and this, and we get told yes or no by those with much bigger offices than ours. If that
Well,
makes
it's an
sense.
enterprise fund that is truly an enterprise fund.
Yes.
And it is not subsidized to the extent that some of the other enterprise funds seem to be subsidized. I've looked at the books. And I'm just saying that this money comes out of the pockets of golfers, and the golfers want the maintenance that needs to be taken care of.
It's a simple message.
Right.
To change,
Right.
really.
And I try to be as diplomatic as possible sitting here.
I know.
Believe it or not, I can't. Believe it or not, I can be aggressive.
Okay.
Behind closed doors, and I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter that we're in the pile with DPW and all these other places because, like you said, it's our own. I don't want to say baby bank, but it's user fees.
Right.
It's not tax money.
Right.
It's user fees.
Correct.
So I'm going to be aggressive with that. I'm going to try to get as much as I can done without having to find a new career.
Suzanne, maybe we'll wrap this up, unless other people want to talk. But I don't understand it either, and this is why I personally am opposed to the resident fee increase.
Is there a number that they'd be satisfied with in that reserve fund?
Oh, they are now.
They are
We're
now.
there.
With what, that is satisfied with that number?
We're there, and that's
They wanted 750,000 just a few years ago.
and that's
But
evidenced
again,
by. I'll get to it in my report, but I had a good, quick back and forth email conversation with Mark Mill, the director, about the cart path project, and he and I agreed 100% on how to pay for it, and I'll get to that. I don't know if you're on it, but no, we're at a good spot. That's why I have no problem publicly on camera saying I have no interest in increasing that number at all. I want to put money back into the golf course, not into the surplus. You know, Bruce didn't have the luxury of saying that, but I do. Thank you, COVID, I guess.
I mean, you can have a golf course, or you can have a nice golf course.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
and
I go to the other places. I see them.
they can decide that people aren't gonna wanna pay,
Right.
you know,
Right.
for just the old.
And the people who, you know, the groups of 16, 20, 32 that come here to the Cape on vacation, they'll go elsewhere in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know? And then you see those, you know, that's the groups you rely on a Wednesday in August. You know, and if they're not here, we have holes in the tee sheet all of a sudden. Now we're really dipping into surplus to balance the budget, and that's the last thing we want.
all right, other questions or comments? If not, then we will move, do you have additional information for us, Jesse, with your report?
No, I
That was
almost.
basically it?
Yeah. Do you want to let James go first before me, just because he's been.
So patient over there?
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Director of Golf Maintenance
How's that?
Report,
Is that all right?
James
Sure.
Bentley.
Okay.
I don't have that much. I did give you a little printout, little update from Mass DEP on the drought status from September 8th. Critical drought for the Cape and Islands, along with a lot of the rest of the state. The second page kind of shows the breakdown of basically why the fairways look the way they do at each golf course. As you get to each tier of drought, our water permit kind of requires us to reduce the amount of time we can water the fairways. So that's why they've kind of steadily declined, as I'm sure you've noticed throughout the season. Because I don't want to speak to what other golf courses are doing, but I mean, we all kind of draw from the same aquifer as the drinking water, and I felt it was the right thing to do to adhere to our water permit. So that being said, we're going to bring them back. The rain lately has been helpful. We're going to be hitting both courses hard with, we have a beautiful brand new seeder that goes on the back of a tractor.
Oh, good.
We're going to be doing both courses, fairways, and then hitting them with organic fertilizer to get some good germination. So we are going to bring them back.
Good.
But yeah, I've been here for 15 years and I've never seen the fairways look like that. It was tough to watch them slowly just.
Brown.
It was horrible.
Well, the only good rough is dead rough, so.
And the roughs, yeah, the roughs have just been, as you've seen, the driving ranges and the roughs.
Yeah.
But those tend to kind of
Come
bounce back
yeah.
naturally. We'll give them, this rain will help. We're gonna give them a little fertilizer too, and they will bounce back on the rough. But the fairways, they need
Yeah, they need help, yep.
They need
James,
help.
how will that affect play?
Not too much. It's more of a problem of maybe for a couple weeks, as much as we can, trying to keep car traffic off of new seedlings, which is easier said than done. But we did it a couple years ago when Hyannis's fairways were really, they were in rough shape. And we actually contracted it out to we didn't have a seeder at the time. And they bounced back. I mean, it's a great machine. It's just, yeah, that's gonna be the tough part.
Can you make a big sign, keep carts off the fairways?
We used a lot of rope at Hyannis.
Yeah, I saw
which I
that,
hate
yeah.
putting out there. We might have to do that in a few holes, like 12 at Hyannis, which is really hurting. But I don't want to put rope everywhere.
No,
But in certain
understood.
spots, we might have to try to,
But you can't put up a sign that says, please try not to drive
We
on
can.
fairways, we're seeding them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But, I mean, the weather's on our side now. I mean, typically rainfall
Yeah.
in the Cape is on our side most
Cooler.
years. Cooler temperatures, lower, dew points. We're gonna get it back, I'm confident, so. But yeah, it was quite the year, drought-wise. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, so.
Courses have been playable. They're still very much playable.
I've heard a lot of wedges into greens, which
Yeah, yeah.
some people like that, so.
A lot of roll.
A lot of balls.
A lot of roll.
A lot of roll.
Oh, was that what it was? It was roll?
Yeah.
I thought it was a big
Did
hundred.
you work on regiment?
250
No, that
watt
was not
drive.
about the beauty.
So moving on from that, we finally got the last, we're waiting on 2 sprayers as the last part of our equipment package for Old Barnstable. One got here early this week, and the second one is coming Friday, which is huge. Yep.
That's great.
The guys from Toro coming down, gonna show us, they're completely different from the 13, 15-year-old ones we have right now, so,
Do those get handed down to Hyannis or anything?
yes.
Yeah,
those-
okay.
That one's going to Hyannis to help them. It's just gonna be, it's really gonna help with the sustainability thing. It's brand new technology, they got
Great.
computers, just better coverage as far as your applications. They are gonna help, so that's huge. And as part of, Jesse will probably touch on this, the CIP for Hyannis, they're gonna be getting one of these newer style sprayers to help them out. Knock on wood. But, yep, other thing I've been working on, Susan, I know we kind of briefly touched on this maybe a month or 2 ago. And I think it did come up at last month's meeting, which I missed. I'm enrolling both golf courses in the Audubon for golf courses program.
Fabulous, fabulous.
Which enrolling is one
That's
thing,
great.
but then you have to get certified, which takes anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. They come down, they do site visits. But a lot of what, if you go on their website, a lot of what their best management practices are kind of align with what we're already been doing. And on the website, we'd be one of the few municipal golf courses in the state that are actually enrolled in the
That's
program.
fabulous,
Wow.
great job, James.
So I think it's right up our alley. It's something the town should pursue big time. There is a cost, an annual fee,
Yeah.
which is only $500 per course, which I think is not that much. I don't know, I think it's a no-brainer for us.
It gives James tools to use, and it gives me something to market.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I've always thought marketing the green initiative
Right,
was a
right.
real smart thing to do. People like hearing that you're using organic materials and trying really hard to sustain the
And it's not just
environment.
that, it's wildlife, it's,
Yeah.
putting up osprey nests, it's
Yeah.
butterfly habitat, which we already have a ton of at Old Barnstable, and those sand
do.
plains on 8 and 9.
Yeah,
So there's already a lot of things in our favor.
Yeah.
But yeah, having that, I think is,
that's fabulous, nice job.
Is it just the National Audubon website?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can email you guys a link to the website, and I have a special section just on golf, and it actually breaks it down really nice about their program, and it really does kind of outline the best management practices program that I'm gonna be kind of working on this winter.
Yeah.
It's step and step.
Yeah,
And like Jesse, when we do actually get certified, it's maybe something you can market, saying, hey,
Yeah,
we're,
if you could keep us up to date on that.
I will.
Yeah.
That sounds great. If you and Suzanne have been talking about it, and I think we all love to hear that kind of stuff.
Sure. So that's kind of what I've been working on that. And that's kind of really all I had. I don't know if anybody had any questions for me. I know the earthworm castings have been bad. I haven't quite solved that problem yet.
Saw it yesterday, Hyannis, all of it.
Yeah, they were brutal at Hyannis today and yesterday, especially with the rain. That makes it worse. There was a product I was trying, a bio product that I thought was working pretty well, but I don't know. It's a work in progress. So.
they're earthworms, they'll go where they go.
They go where they go. Yeah.
Birds were having a field day.
We want to get back to you, Jesse?
Sure. Obviously, I wrote this in the past, so it might be a little redundant. All right, so director's report, here we go. Today was, or at least was supposed to be, the opening round of this year's Senior Club Championship. We covered that, it got rained out, so tomorrow will be a one-day event. Some other small things, reciprocal play is gonna start this coming week. You should have got that email. It's nothing new, that agreement's been in place for quite some time, but it's a great chance to check out some of the other munis on Cape for super cheap.
Does this go out to all the membership?
Yeah.
The reciprocal?
That did, yes, I
It
said
did?
that to everybody,
Okay.
yes.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Once again, we'll be running the early sign-up program. So, doesn't affect any current pass holders, but starting October 1st, anyone not currently active in Chelsea, they can buy their 2023 annual pass, and basically they play from the time of purchase through the end of March for free. At that point, their pass kicks in, and then they're in the system, in the rotation like everyone else. August was exceptionally busy. OBF had just shy of 7,000 rounds, averaging over 220 a day. Hyannis had 5,300 rounds, 170 a day. Since the start of July, we've hosted 25,000 rounds in just 2 months. It's over 400 a day, each and every day. Couple that with the level of traffic, with the long-standing drought conditions. Suffice to say, our golf courses they're tired and they're beat down. Obviously, I wrote this yesterday afternoon before we got all this rain, but I say that just to address the elephant in the room. Yes, the fairways, especially at Hyannis, are pretty beat up and burnt out. What really grinds my gears is I've had plenty of people tell me that, well, XYZ golf course is doing fine and this golf course looks great. And to that, honestly, I can't control whether or not the other golf courses are following the rules.
They're watering.
James just said, right. I personally know of numerous courses on Cape Cod that are admittedly ignoring those EPA guidelines, and nothing we can do about that. We're trying to do the right thing, and that's that. As ugly as some of the fairways might be financially, things are looking good, at least on the revenue side. In August, both courses outperformed forecasted revenues by over $20,000 each, putting us about $150,000 ahead of schedule for the current fiscal year. Granted, we're only 2 months into it. And granted, I'll add, it was a relatively conservative forecast to begin with. We're officially entering into budget season. You all have, I forwarded you the budget action calendar. You can see the deadlines we're up against for various things. The FY22 this past year, ending June 30th, is still in the process of being closed out. Our reserve fund, what the state calls free cash, or the Commonwealth, if Jeff is watching, nothing on that? No, not a chuckle from anybody? Never mind. My math tells me it's going to be north of 2.3 million, as we've talked about. So within the next year, we'll be looking to utilize those funds for a number of things. We're currently looking to purchase a new tractor. That costs us $42,000, and that's with about $8,000 worth of trade-in allowance on some of our older equipment. Our hope is that we can get that done outside of the regular budget cycle. Granted, that will require approval of town council. The other item is the cart path project. I'm happy to say that Finance Director Mark Milne feels the same way I do about the cost of it, which is to simply fund the entire project out of reserves and be done with it.
Yes.
The alternative, of course, being to finance it, which would burden future year budgets with a substantial 5-figure payment. I was thrilled that he and I are on the same page with that. So even with the cost of both the tractor and the cart path project being funded 100% out of reserves with no financing needed, that account will still be around $2 million. Of course, none of this is set in stone, but I like the direction things are going. As far as the budget calendar process, there's 3 main things that we focus on. Rates and fees, CIP submissions, and decision packages. Rates and fees we talked about, I'll leave that alone for now. CIP submissions. So for anybody newish here, CIP it's anything over $50,000 that doesn't fit into the regular operating budget. We have, as of right now, this may grow or shrink in our upcoming meetings with certain people. We have 4 CIP items. The turf maintenance equipment package at Hyannis. So just like we just got all new equipment here, we're now looking to do the same thing at Hyannis there too. A new cart barn here. We've already dealt with a sizable hole in the roof. One of the 4 overhead doors failed. So we've already put thousands of dollars into that building this year. So we need to start looking at that. What I will say is I'm trying to approach that. If we are going to do that, I'd like to look at throwing solar on it. The idea being
Electric cars.
5 years from now.
Oh,
Great.
darn
Well,
it.
we got our new fleet already, but our next fleet,
Our next fleet would
we
be
could be looking
electric.
at electric. Right.
So would you be trying to, over the next few years, do a cart barn at Hyannis?
Probably not.
Where would you put it?
That's right.
Well, or just the solar parking lot thing?
That
and then
like
parking
Captain's
lot-
Day, yeah.
And then
That's a
parking
whole
lot
other.
underneath.
I thought a new parking lot.
Probably.
Yeah. So, okay, so those two. Irrigation needs here at OBF. I believe, is that still, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess the heads themselves here are incredibly outdated.
Uh, 60 to 70% of them are still 30.
Yeah.
They're still what?
They're actually older than the ones at Hyannis. They're
Oh,
60 to
my.
70%
The
of
heads,
them are
not the
originals.
main
No,
lines,
the
right?
Yeah,
heads.
the actual sprinkler heads
But
themselves.
that's critical
Yeah.
in the system, yeah.
So that's number 3, and then number 4 would be a storage building, an equipment storage building here at OBF. For all this brand new equipment we have that just sits outside in the rain, and we're currently renting trailers to the tune of almost 10 grand a year to house these things. So it would make a whole lot more sense just to build a crude steel building,
Sure,
like we have at Hyannis.
prefab.
Right.
Is that pump house, that's being repaired by?
That's done. That's being done in-house. Yeah.
In-house,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Who's?
Jim Rahilly.
Yeah, I thought so,
Yeah, he was volunteering and he was just doing too much, so I kind of hired him to the maintenance staff, and
He's
just,
gardening, and next minute he's Bob Vila. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing
See,
some,
that man is amazing.
Yeah.
he's doing a good job.
So the other items are a bit trickier. Of those 4 items, the equipment package is a slightly different animal in that we are currently in the last year of payments for the prior package. So this year we paid $62,000 for the equipment at Hyannis. This is our last year of that. Meaning, moving into FY24, $62,000 will be freed up.
It's freed up.
The goal is to simply roll that into the new package, much like coming to the end of a car lease and just re-upping
Sure.
it to the next year's model. That's, in a perfect world, that's what we do. The other 3 items are a bit trickier in that we would be taking on more debt. That is, of course, we go the financing route as opposed to surplus. James and I will meet with Mark Milne in a few weeks to go over those things. The 4 options being finance all of it, use the surplus for all of it, a mix of the 2, or you get nothing. Those are the 4 options.
Well, you get some. You get some.
Have a meeting, hopefully.
Yeah. Decision packages, completely different animal. These are changes, increases to operating line items, be it either one-time or reoccurring moving forward. An example of a one-time is in this current year's budget, there's $35,000 for a new awning over the back deck in Hyannis. We're hoping to have that installed in the spring. That $35,000 you won't see in next year's budget. It was a one-time, okay, no problem. I'm working on 3 other decision packages right now, none of which are one-time. They're all increases to specific line items that are necessary to match respective rising costs. Credit card processing fees. We're way under budgeted. Last year, our budget was $50,000, actuals came in at $84,000. Nothing you can do, cost of doing business. Nobody's using cash anymore. Everybody's paying with their phone, their Apple Watch, their, and we're so much busier now. So that needs to go up. But it's crazy to think that we need to cut in other areas to be able to afford credit card processing fees, which are simply, literally, the cost of doing business. Utilities, to the tune of about $25,000. I'm asking for an increase. Electric, phone service, natural gas, all that stuff. And the new cart lease, another 38 grand. Those 3 things combined is just under $100,000. I don't see any way any of those can be denied, as they're non-discretionary expenses, they're essential to the operation. But who knows, it's a $100,000 increase right there to next year's budget before any salary and wage increase, retirement, health insurance, anything mandated by the union. And I think that's why it's so important that we utilize reserve funds as much as possible and finance as little as possible. Because that's where I got kind of the $200,000 number in my head, was $100,000 for these decision packages, salaries and wages. We're currently, and it's not just salaries, I'm talking retirement, health insurance, everything. Say we're at 1.3 right now, you gotta throw another 3% on that, that's union contract, there's 40 grand. And then some of the CIP stuff gets us up to 200, so that's total rough math, but that's why I kinda at the gate said, looking around, and if it is a $200,000 increase, that's 6 to 7%.
Usually those increases follow the rate of inflation.
Oh, good luck.
Well,
I don't think we're getting a 9% raise.
I don't think it's gonna be 3% either. The government, I mean, the state's talking about 5%.
Okay. I'll make a side
Just
bet. I'll make a
saying.
side bet with you on that.
Yeah, okay, just saying.
Federal's talking about 4.
Really?
Are they?
Well,
Yeah.
going back
As the
to your
total?
point about whether we should use a surplus,
Mm.
we all know the cost of borrowing money is getting higher and higher, so that's gonna cost us more and more.
I don't want to burden future years' budgets when we have it now.
Mhm.
I just think if you were buying a $300,000 house and you had $2.4 million in the bank, you'd buy it cash. That's my mindset.
Yeah.
I'm not Dave Ramsey, but
Well,
that's me.
We have a problem with Toro TPC too, 14 to 16 months turnaround time as of right, if we ordered equipment today.
The hiatus package.
If we ordered it today, it's only gonna get worse from what I've been told. And we can't order it until the CIP gets,
it gets funded. yeah.
In the spring.
so you're talking spring.
Talking 18 months lead time.
Well, they're saying, an analyst I read said that the supply chain issues are expected to extend into 2025. Not fiscal year, calendar year 2025, so.
They can't get, I met with them today, they can't get computers. They have equipment
Chips.
all assembled, ready to go,
Yeah.
no computer.
Foam for the seats. You said that?
And foam for the
Think
seats.
about that.
Yeah,
Foam for
silly,
the seats.
silly
Foam
things,
for the seats is
wiring
what's holding them.
harnesses, yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's like a traffic jam. It just
Yeah,
keeps.
it's exacerbating all the time.
That and golf is going crazy, as we know. All these golf courses are ordering equipment and they can't. That's part of the problem.
Well,
Yeah,
baby boomer
success.
golfers aren't gonna be around forever either, so I say if you have it now, spend it now.
That's why Dave Danelli's so important. Keep 'em
I'll
playing.
let him know.
Yeah.
All right, anyone have any comments or questions for our Director of Golf?
Yeah, just for my information, this surplus, 2,2.4, is there actually money set aside, or is it commingled with all of the Barnstable funds?
It's not supposed to be. I think by law
It's a
it
separate
should
line.
be segmented. Yeah.
It's a separate line.
Is it invested and earning
Yes. Yeah.
something?
Last year I think we made about 10 grand on cash reserve interest. Yeah.
Mr. Milne is an excellent.
He's great.
Finance
Oh,
director.
He's great.
It's excellent.
It's really good. I was very happy to hear him say, yeah, let's just pay for the cars.
Yeah.
You know, I was
Yeah.
praying he said that.
Yeah.
Okay, other comments, questions? Yeah, I just want to mention to Jim that I think 90% of the people who play here are supportive of everything you're doing. They know we use organic fertilizer. They know we're trying to help the water supply in this town, and people absolutely support it, even though it does show on the fairways a little bit.
Sure does.
It's second that.
I mean,
Okay?
he said the courses are very playable, and that sounds so neutral, but it's in this, and what's been happening lately, that's an incredibly good, big compliment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And,
no, I
yeah,
mean, it-
the fact that they're even playable when you go 8 weeks without rain.
Yeah.
is-
I'm like, I've never been on
Just hit the
YouTube
ball
so
and move
much.
Right.
Nudge from
As I
the
have
dirt
these
over
past
to
few
the
weeks,
grass.
because the ball just
I play
flies and
everything
then
else.
rolls and rolls and rolls, you know, it's just,
Hopefully
You
you
can't
don't
afford to
get used
maintain it, it's up.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
there advertising for these, for the Cooley Classic and the Trade?
oh, I have
Sale?
posters, I need to bring, the CUDA posters to Hyannis
Sure.
tomorrow. I hope he lets me put them up.
course.
I had some really nice posters printed up, and there are 2 upstairs. so-
Bring
Just
coffee.
bring in breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay, I'll bring him an egg McMuffin and I'll put up my poster.
Is
It's
there,
Mike.
can you sign up now?
Donuts
or-
and
Yeah,
coffee.
yes, you
Okay.
can, yeah. And Marilyn is on the committee, so we opened it up to the BLGA first because our members are very, very generous. We have 93 members of the Barnstable Ladies Golf Association now, and last year a number of them were frozen out. So we just had a little, early sign up for the ladies that's, really support the program.
Every
Now
time I
it's
go
open.
every time I go to a Yarmouth course, I see you there with them. 2 for 2 this year.
No,
I
not
played
every
Bayberry
time,
and Bass
Jesse.
River once each this year, and I've seen her there both times. I swear.
Now you're telling on me,
Sorry, yeah.
Jesse. All right.
He has you on a track.
He has me on a track. Are you kidding?
All right, our next meeting is going to be October 11th. Very important meeting, and again, I think everybody has heard what the agenda is going to be. No need to repeat it. With that, I'd like to hear a motion to adjourn.
So,
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
Okay.